Good evening and Merry Christmas. I suppose I should have taken your bet, CT. And then I would have won some dollar bills, dollar bills. But hello everyone. Thank you for coming. I know it's been a while. Lots of crazy stuff is going on in real life and been handling that. Kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I'll probably do a member stream to talk a little bit more about it because I definitely owe you guys. You guys have been amazing. And it's it'll hopefully get better. Oh, no, CT, you don't get to JK that. I will take those in George Washington's. So find them, send them my way. Cash is king. Cash is king. But hello everybody. I'm so glad you could be here. Jeff, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Legioness, what are you doing? Hello. It's always good to see you. CT, hello, of course. You guys are awesome. And this is gonna be something a little bit different than like my nostalgic nirvanas. It's something that oh, you're so sweet, CT. It's okay. I can trust me. I can You're fine, CT. Though it is Christmas and I would not mind, you know, little extra for the presents under the tree, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But it's yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I know there's been a lot going on for a lot of people, but tonight is going to be kind of fun because we're going to talk about, so there's 12 total. So I have 6 nice and like 1 honorable mention, and I have 6 naughty. And the naughties are not like, it's not like they're so bad they're good, or it's like, ooh, that's naughty. No, these movies are just, the naughty list is literally terrible Christmas films. And just, they're so bad. I'm not sure who greenlit them and thought that they would get money, because the thing is, Hollywood has, for companies and corporations and an entire industry that hates everything to do with conservative Christian values, they sure do enjoy milking it for all it's worth. Whether it's from the corporate angle or even a faith-based angle, they will, that like anything that they can to just sort of drain it for everything that it's worth. So to start in, we're going to do, so some of these are kind of obvious ones. And Cal G, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Yeah, everybody is going live tonight. I know. I'm trying to finish up before Geeks and Gamers goes live in like 42 minutes for their, I think it's their members, their premium member stream of Mario Kart. And I know Comics is live right now, so got some heavy hitters going on, but I appreciate each of you even more. Father, how are you doing, Father Miller? It's so good to see you. You're gonna go see Violent Night? I heard that it's it I heard that it might be worth checking out just for, poos and giggles. But on that note, on that happy note, I am going to go ahead and let you guys see the ones that I've picked out for this week. I plan to do this again next week as well. So first and foremost, Hallmark used to be the go-to place for Christmas movies, like especially if you wanted like cheesy romance, that sort of idyllic, small town, Christmassy, family centric, romantic subplot, Christmas movie, like just someone who was lost or maybe forgot the spirit of Christmas or what the meaning of Christmas is, and found themselves again, and it was through love or whatever. Hallmark has made it clear that they are moving away from that. So, because of that, Candace Cameron Bure, who was one of their big hitters, announced earlier this year that she would be moving over to the Great American Family Network, where what GAF has stated is they're going to stay focused on the family unit, on traditional Christmas themes, on hope, inspiration, love, all of those good things that we love. So, this is one of their newest premieres. They have a whole slew of things that they are presenting. And this particular film is going to be about, you know, an estranged family going back and seeing family that they haven't seen in a while. And so this came out this past Thanksgiving weekend, and it's an entire set of different films that they are premiering throughout the entire Christmas season. And this one was actually really faith centered on top of it being family oriented, and just a lot of fun, and the stuff that we used to expect to see from Christmas movies. And it sort of just it comes back to all of that, and it's really really nice to see um that reconnection with all of those things. So you can see this is number 12, and they've really kind of nailed it. But the whole idea behind this, so they have Great American Christmas right here, and of course movie review schedule, movie checklist. So the movie checklist is their 18 original movies. If you go down and you check the list twice, but if you can find your channel, so like this one comes out this Saturday, this one comes out this Sunday, so you have Art of Christmas, Crown Prince of Christmas, and then I'll be home for Christmas. Get it? But it's like aisle, as walking down the aisle. So there's so much wonderful Christmas. You get some cheesy, you get some romantic, you get some faith centric. It's all kind of there. And it's so if you can find it, the channel finder, these are the carriers that have Great American Family. Um, so if you have one of these carriers, you should be able to find them, and you can get that cheese or that romance or that cheesy romance or that faith centric or just, a happy Christmas movie, because we're about to get into some that are gonna. Oh man, the very first. So this is our first on the nice list. Our naughty list is about to start, and it's interesting to say the least. But first, Eric, thank you so much for the $10. Says Die Hard, Home Alone 2, and Elf are my yearly go-to movies. Yes, this year I want to see Spirited and Violent Night. Merry Christmas, Lady G. Well, Merry Christmas to you, Eric. Like I said, I heard Violent Night was worth checking out just for poos and giggles. Spirited, I'm sort of torn on because I don't know really what Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell are gonna deliver. I hope it's something funny and not corporate funny, if that makes any sense. That's kind of like that's where I'm a little bit concerned. But I will probably check out Spirited as well, just to see what it's all about and cross my fingers and hope for the best. Because Will Ferrell in Elf was pretty good, I will say. So and then Miss Martin for $20. Thank you so much. Gives a pair that says thanks for being you. Thank you for being you, Miss Martin Muses. You are incredible. Guys, if you haven't already, Miss Martin Muses has a channel. Check her out. Every Saturday she does a read through of different books. We're on Elfstones of Shannara. Due to, like I said, some stuff going on personally, I haven't been able to been there as much as I would like to, but I will stop by any and every time that I can. Epic Mike, hello Mike. Mwah. How are you doing, Big Mike? I appreciate you. I love you and thank you. You are amazing. That is all. That is really sweet, Mike. Just so you know, I tried to go with some obscure, like some are pretty obvious, but I went with some pretty obscure ones too, because everybody kind of knows Polar Express and Muppet Christmas Carol and Home Alone, stuff like that. So we tried. I did get some main obvious ones in here, but there's some kind of obscure ones too. So just bear with me. I know you can make it. Maybe you'll find some that you haven't heard of. I know a lot of folks haven't seen these, and of course, this is from their 2021 roster. Um, you can check out all of those as well. So, next up on our first on the naughty list. And of course it's Disney. Of course it's Disney. And it was on Disney Plus. It went straight to streaming and I know why. Because this movie is utterly terrible. Basically, these are Santa's kids. So the intro of the movie is Santa comes down a chimney and these kids are waiting up and you're like, "Who is it?" And it's Santa, but they're like, "Dad," and they wake up, and of course, this is Nick, he's supposed to take over. Well, he he's not a fan of that. I am not I will give you the rundown of this movie. Basically, he has been in training his whole life to be Santa, and his dad passes away 6 months before Christmas, and so he's supposed to take over, and he's not ready. He's been training since he was, like, 10 years old, but he can't land a sled, he can't talk he can't speak all of the different languages, like, because Santa can magically speak all languages. He can't do the presents, he can't get down the chimney, he hates the cold, he has allergies to the reindeer. It's just an absolute disaster. And Noelle is his sister, and at the beginning of the movie, she tells Santa, her dad, that she wants to do something important. And her dad looks at her and says, "Well, you need to keep your brother's Christmas spirit up so that he never forgets the meaning of Christmas." Which is a very important job because can you imagine if Santa forgot the meaning of Christmas? But it doesn't matter. You know why? Because sis tells bro, "Hey, you seem stressed. Take a weekend, go on a vacation." And of course, he just vanishes. He jets and disappears. Doesn't come back. She tracks him down to Phoenix, Arizona, and he's loving life. He's become a hippie yoga master with his own yoga studio, his own I kid you not, he in Phoenix, he runs a yoga studio and doesn't want to go home, doesn't want to do Christmas. And he is supposed to be able to look at kids and be able to tell if they're naughty or nice and what it is that they wanted for Christmas, like what their greatest wish for their Christmas gift would be. And as Noelle is going through Phoenix, she's suddenly able to sign. She's suddenly able to speak all of these languages. She's able to tell if someone's going to be nice because she hires a private investigator to find him to help her find her brother. And private investigator phone dies or whatever, and she's like, "Ask him. He's nice. If he'll let you borrow his phone." And private investigator is like, "How'd you know that?" And she's like, "I have no idea." So we go through this whole thing. You're seeing the signs, and we get to the end, and there's this whole elf tribunal. I am not kidding you. This elf tribunal, it's all males on the council, all male elves, and they were like, "We've relooked at the rule book, and there's nothing saying that a girl can't be Santa. It's just a tradition that we've been blindly following for 200 or 2000 years or whatever it is." Literally, that it doesn't mean it's not that Santa can't be a girl. They've just been so blinded by the patriarchy that they never thought that a girl could be Santa. I am not kidding you. And then, because of course, Santa needs validation, talk about not having the spirit of Christmas when you need small children to call you Santa before you believe you can actually be Santa. This movie was horrific. Absolutely horrific. And then we get to the end of it, and the North Pole is running smoother than it ever was before. She's just absolutely, boss girl, killing it as Santa Claus. Bro has opened up a yoga studio up in the North Pole because all of the elves need to work on their chi or whatever. Which defeats the point of why he wanted to leave in the first place because he hated the cold. Yet he stayed in the North Pole to open up a yoga studio. Like, it's so bad that I I actually I actually got upset with it because there were some cheeky lines in there that weren't bad. Like one or two lines, but it doesn't save the show. But like straight up in at this tribunal were like, yeah, we've just been blindly following this tradition for no reason um whatsoever, just because just because. And then her nanny, Elfie or whatever her name is, becomes the first female elf on the elf council. Yeah, it's so trash. I i i have not hated a Disney movie or a Christmas movie, I think, more. It's very not good. Very, very bad. It's absolutely horrific, and Disney should be ashamed of themselves. But this is what I'm saying. They love to do, like, oh, let's subvert it. Never mind that Santa Claus is Saint Niklaus, who, actually delivered toys to children and punched heretics in the face. Literally punched heretics in the face. No, we're just gonna skip over that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that Santa Claus is based on a real living person from history. It irritates me to no end. Skip this movie. I know it's on streaming only. I just don't watch it, guys. It's not worth your time. Don't give Disney the views. Don't even bother going on the high seas for this one. It is horrendous. I don't know another word for it outside of that. Just blah. Just no. Back to the nice list. I mean, this is kind of an obvious one, of course, but I couldn't not put this on the first list of what to watch for Christmas. It is the 1984 Christmas Carol with George C. Scott, and it is fantastic. This is by far the best representation of Scrooge. Doesn't matter. Like, yes, you've got the Muppet Christmas Carol, you've got the Flintstones Christmas Carol, which I love. You've got the animated, oh gosh, I can't think of it. Is it Alvin and Chipmunks? There's a lot of renditions of A Christmas Carol, and you've got the 3D animated one with Jim Carrey, I think, that a lot of people like. Oh, it's the animated Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol, that's right. So there's tons of renditions of this. You even have like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past with Matthew McConaughey, which is like a twist on A Christmas Carol. And so there's uh lots and lots of stories and films have been inspired by Charles Dickens stories, especially A Christmas Carol. And so if you guys haven't watched this one, it is so heartwarming, and it's just, it reaches into your soul and just pulls at the very core of what makes us human. It's so fantastic. I can't think of another actor who has nailed Scrooge more than George C. Scott. It's just a fantastic film. And the thing is, this is so different than other Christmas movies because it's not like he gets his long lost love at the end, but George, Bob Cratchit and his family, he sort of takes them under his wing, and his love expands from there, and he gives to all of these other needy charities and foundations, and he helps the poor. After this, he's been after internal self-reflection. Someone told me that Scrooge was a Gary Sue, and that lets me know that they fundamentally misunderstand what a Mary Sue and a Gary Sue are, because George C. Scott, like Scrooge, has to do what no Mary Sue has ever done, and that is internally reflect upon himself and face his own faults, his own shortcomings, and deal with them, accept that that is the truth. Be like, yes, I have been bitter. I did close people out. I did choose um the money over love. I chose money over my partner. I chose all of these things, and I was greedy, and I was selfish, and I was self-centered. And I chose to live on the cheap because I would much rather have a mountain of gold than luxury, than comfort. I chose the gold, I chose the money over everything. And at the sacrifice of my nephew, a relationship with my nephew who's still trying, at the sacrifice of having an employee who is gainfully and happily employed and is able to share experiences with me, or whose opinion I might listen to that might help the company, or help my business. And so he realizes how much he has failed himself and how much he has failed others. And he makes it his mission, after he has done this self reflection and gone through these trials and woken up to the beauty of Christmas Day, and been able to really change who he is for the better. That is completely antithetical to any feminist messaging or any Gary Sue or Mary Sue has ever done. So it's most definitely worth the watch. And if you guys haven't seen it, I strongly recommend it. Like I said, there are lots of versions out there, but this is the one that you really need to watch. Really truly you do. Your Muslim uncle for $5. Thank you so much. Says Merry Christmas, Marine. God bless you, your family and friends, and the chat. Of course, the chat. God bless the chat. Mwah. Thank you so much, your Muslim uncle. I really, really, really appreciate it. Rah. From this old Marine to you. But it's it's a good time. So now we're back on the naughty list. So Noelle made Santa a girl. Like, literally killed Santa and then made Santa a girl. And then we have Santa Inc. I don't even know what this was supposed to be. I think they were trying to go for like Team America humor and completely missed the mark. It's grotesque. It's not funny. Like, you have like that grotesque humor, that dark humor that kind of works sometimes. This misses all of those marks. It really just kind of comes off as like a drunken rant from the uncle and the aunt that you feel sorry for. Like, it's the uncle and the aunt who are brother and sister, and are miserable and hate life, and they make each other's lives miserable, and neither of them can like maintain any kind of healthy relationship. And it's whew, I can't give you a plot summary because I still have no idea what this movie was about. It was so bad. I didn't even finish it. And I there's only other like it's just no. Just no. It's not skip it. It's not worth it. The the talent is not there. It's not funny. It's very crass. It's very loud, and it's very feminine Nazi and yeah, I hope you know what I meant there. So my recommendation is skip this one. Next, so this one is this is the honorable mention that we snuck in there. This is actually like, Father Miller, if you see Violent Night tonight and you like it, you will probably like Fat Man. So this one, a kid gets a clump of coal in his from Santa, and he hires a he hires a hitman to go after Santa. Well, then you find out that Santa has survived many an assassination attempt, which would make sense because there's other religions who want to bring him down, there's other world leaders who'd want to bring him down, stuff like that. But he like it was kind of almost funny to me because like I said, Saint Nicholas literally punched heretics in the mouth. And in Fat Man, he's punching people in the mouth. Um and it's I mean, it's a great cast. It's Mel Gibson, Walton Goggins, and Marianne Jean-Baptiste. It's so like the casting is really good. I can this actually there is obviously some intersectionalism in it. It's in there, but it's not really in your face. And if you wanted to check out kind of a newer dark humor action Christmas movie, this one might be worth a shot. Proceed with caution. This one probably isn't for everybody, but I did enjoy this one. Surprisingly, I was actually surprised. So this is my honorable mention for the list. Then of course, another obvious one, Die Hard. It is not Christmas without Die Hard. I don't care what anybody says. It is a Christmas movie. You will love it. It's action, it's comedy, it's survival, it's witty, and I mean, it's a fantastic, well-written show. And you will not be at all disappointed. And this is a this is a Christmas tradition in my house for sure. So this one makes our nice list. You should definitely check it out. It goes it it's like jingle boom all the way. It's good. It's fantastic. The cast, the story, I mean, he's just there to see his wife cuz he thought that she would come back after she sort like he was expecting her to fail and she didn't, and now he's, there to sort of kind of, make up for it, tell her he's sorry, that he loves her, that he wants to date, that he wants to be with her, and marry, like sort of patch things up with his wife. And these brilliant criminals, well, I don't know about, I mean, Hans is pretty brilliant. He's got some, muscle over brain on his team, but for the most part, they know what they're doing and they are terrifying, and it's such a good show. So definitely give it a shot. If you say it's not a Christmas movie, then you're wrong. Oh God. Okay. So, much like Noel had to put the feminine message at the forefront. Now, this looks like your typical cheesy is for modern audiences. This one I think is on Amazon though. I don't know that it's Hallmark. I can't remember. Um this girl right here, she comes home. She's going to save her she's going to save her family business by winning the lumberjack competition. Guys, she's not in her own, like it's not like a women have a division and men have a division, right? Like it's not the male lumberjack winner is, and like the winning lumberjill is, and the winning lumberjack is. No, she lumberjills against the other lumberjacks. Guess who wins? I mean, against, like, she even says she hasn't picked up an axe in years. She gets like 2 weeks of refresher training in, right? Or something like that. It's just a few weeks of training in and to like refresh and stuff like that. She's like, well, I grew up doing this. Yeah. But these men not only also grew up doing this, they have continued to do this. But she absolutely just crushes the lumberjacks. It's not even close. She's the only lumberjill, of course. The one lumberjack that she fancies or whatever, he gets DQ'd. I'm trying to remember exactly. Like he steps out of bounds or something like that, falls off the log. And so it's just her against this other guy who is this huge, like actually looks like a lumberjack. and she creams the bigger guy, creams him by like a solid like 13 seconds or something. That is a long, long time. Like that's an obscene amount of time to beat somebody, especially someone who has been lumberjacking for a career since they were kids, who grew up doing this stuff and continue to do this stuff. They didn't go to the city and get this big corporate job and then, come back a little bit later. No, they've been consistently doing this. And she comes in and just manages to blow everybody's socks off. And it's bad, guys. Like it's so full. It's so Mary Sue that I think I actually yelled at the TV because it isn't like the other guy, it's not like the lumberjack eased up on her. It was like he was putting in effort, but you could tell that they were just the way they were clipping it made it look like she was going ahead of him. They never really showed you the other guy because if they did, you'd see that he wasn't putting in effort. Like he was a very what is it? He was a very accommodating competitor. Instead of stuntman, he's just a very accommodating competitor. And it was just not not a very good anything. Like it wasn't good at all. And then at the end, instead of riding off into the sunset and everything like that, she saves the business, she keeps the corporate job, and she gets the guy, but he understands that the business comes first. Like it's just it feminists have no idea what they want, or they know what they want but they can't admit what they want, which is a butch buff, like usually conservative guy who is capable and decisive and has the ability to do all these things, but then is also like submissive and quiet and doesn't, doesn't like lets her take charge when she wants to or when she needs to. The dichotomy is just an affront to everything. And so it's funny because Christmas movies at their core are so anti-feminist agenda that when they attempt to put the feminist agenda in, the stories no longer make sense because she's choosing her career and her executive position of power. um but he's like, yeah, that's okay, I'll stay with you and we'll just be like this super executive couple together. You know your dream wasn't actually to find a good guy and be able to build up a home and build up a family and find that connection, that soulful connection. Your dream is actually to find a guy who is high powered and decisive and strong, yet is willing to, submit to you in all things. Like you outdo him in business, you outdo him in the bedroom, you outdo him in everything. And also, even though, you know, being able to like being a good cook and cleaning and all of this stuff is also anti-feminist, she's also still amazing at that. Like it's just it's two different people, two different agendas occupying one body and one story, and it doesn't work. So when these feminists try to write out these Christmas stories, the women just come off as conceited and deceitful and awful, and like never once do they apologize. They just come up to the guy and they're like, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot, or I think maybe we should start over. Never a hey, I'm really sorry, I'm super defensive when it comes to my family's business, or I'm really defensive when guys ask me what my credentials are for my position because I'm still a little bit insecure about my place in the company because it is still very much a boys club. Like none of that, no humility, no empathy, no sympathy, just begging for a man that truly doesn't exist. This film is it's not even like a feminist dream. It's simply like even in the fantasy realm, being able to suspend disbelief is difficult because of how unrealistic what they have set up is. So definitely skip this one. There's other great cheesy romance Christmas movies that you can take a look at that take place in the mountains and have a cabin and have snow and are not this. In fact, the Christmas Lodge is actually a great one. She's out on a hike. She hears someone calling for help. Turns out to be this little girl who lives in the Christmas Lodge that she used to visit with her family. And it's kind of fallen down on hard times. And she's like, well, what can I do to help you? And so she starts to, fall back in love with the lodge and the family that's there. And she brings her family out to see the lodge again because her grandpa isn't doing really well, and he's like, it'd be really great to have one more Christmas at the lodge. And so it's very family centric, it's very sweet. You get a lot of the hominess and the joy and the hard work and the effort that gets put into it. And she's doing this for her family. Like, yes, she wants one more Christmas at the lodge as well, but she's really doing this to bring joy to her family. So this is a great one. It's a great, if guys, if you want to watch something that you think your girl's going to really enjoy, it's a little bit on the cheesy side and you're like, what would be a good Christmas date night movie? This would this would check that off the list for sure. Um Kids can watch it too. So if you wanted to make a family night of it, you could. But it's also, this would be a great Christmas movie date night option for sure. I strongly recommend The Christmas Lodge, especially if you want that sort of idyllic setting and that happy ending, happily ever after, that joyful Christmas story that we all love. Now we got to go back to the naughty list, unfortunately. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms. So for those of you that don't know, the Nutcracker, I mean, I think everybody has at least heard of the Nutcracker. It's a ballet, and it's fantastic. It's you have a young girl who is upset that she got a nutcracker for Christmas, throws him like breaks his arm, and then she falls asleep on the settee or the settee, and you have the Mouse King come out and they get into a fight. Clara shrinks down. Her name's Clara. She shrinks down, and now she's got to battle the Mouse King with the prince, like help the prince find, like, get out of the Nutcracker spell. All of these things. So they go through this incredible land, and this whole time they're together, and that's where you get the dance of the sugar plum fairies, and you get the frost fairies, and all of this whimsical, beautiful Christmas ethereal experience. Nutcracker in the Four Realms does not do that. Clara picks up like, she becomes the soldier. She fights the battles. She is the boss girl. She is on it. And really, truly, it's so empty and so vapid and completely devoid of the original story that it's heartbreaking, because this looks like the costumes, the sets, like it looks incredible. It really does. And they blew it with story. It's so depressing how much the agenda just seeps through this. You wouldn't think that they could really take the Nutcracker and, you know, exploit it with agenda, but they absolutely found every single way to do it. And it's just horrific. I recommend watching, like the original ballet recording of it or another rendition of them. There's plenty of Nutcracker storytellings out there. I think even Barbie way back in the day did a Barbie in the Nutcracker, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think I actually liked that one, but I was a kid when I saw it, if I remember correct. So, like, there's other things before the woke got into Barbie and before the woke got into, because I think Disney has another version of the Nutcracker. There are other existing previous renditions that I cannot recommend highly enough. Don't waste your time with this one. It's infuriating. It's quite terrible. Hello. Josh, what's going on? Project Story Time. Mwah. Love and miss you. Yeah, I love the Nutcracker. Like, I've seen the live ballet and I hated this movie. Yes, I am 100% with her for sure. Samil the Infamous. Hail Lady G for $10. Thank you so much. Hail Lady G. Sorry I missed you on SITV. What is that? SITV? What is it? Super Incredible Television? I have no idea. And congrats on rejoining Nerdrotic Team. Yeah, so Gary made that announcement today on Twitter and I think a few other places. Uh I I'm gonna be helping out the Nerdrotic Team a little bit more. Gary's coming to my rescue a little bit again. He's a really good guy, so it's humbling. I'm glad that I'm thankful to him and Melissa and Quarter Black and Perry and X-Ray Girl for, you know, letting me back into the fold, as it were. So I really appreciate it, and I'm gonna get to help out with some of the behind the scenes stuff. And it was it was just really good. I really, really, really am just incredibly thankful for that. So, oh yes, Simula Infamous. Yes, the show you invited me on this past Saturday. Like I said, I'm sorry. I got Phew, my in real time life is chaotic at best right now. So it's yes, I really hope that I can make it sometime. It's just it's really hard. A lot of my Saturdays I already have committed to other stuff, whether it's real life stuff or other streams that I've sort of committed myself to and kind of booked out, not to mention my own streams. I'm still trying to get stuff balanced so that I can get back on to Miss Martin Muse's streams for Saturday for the books. So it's just insanity is my life. Yes, screaming into the void. But I appreciate you, Samil. Thank you so much. Mwah. So guys, that's he does his show on Saturdays. So just so you know that is there for you as well. But yes, Nutcracker in the Four Realms, it's on the naughty list for a reason. It is not worth your time. Uh, It's a Wonderful Life. What would a Christmas movie watch list be without It's a Wonderful Life? I mean, truly, again, I think, especially today, this speaks to so many men who feel underappreciated, who feel trapped, who feel like they've made the wrong decisions in life, who think they're not going anywhere, who were meant for so much more. The difference is they do not have a Donna Reed. They don't have a wife who is supportive and sympathetic, caring, and there for you, and truly loves and is compassionate for you, and is there to be your partner and to help hold you up in those times of just, the insanity of this world. In fact, a lot of wives that I have met personally, they would much rather just stand on the sidelines and watch their husband drown and blame him for everything that's going wrong in their lives. Like, just very self-centered, very evil, very horrific towards the people they're supposed to love and care for. And it was just, this movie is so good, and it shows you how, even if you can't see the waves that you've made in life and who you've touched through your actions and helping them out, it could have been something as simple as you see someone that call out to them and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And be like, "Have you got a minute to talk?" And then you talk to them, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, maybe I don't need to jump off of this bridge. Maybe life is worth living. Maybe I have made a difference in someone's life. Maybe there is purpose beyond, going to work, punching in, punching out, and going home and getting screamed at." But and of course George Bailey doesn't get screamed at, of course, by his wife. But it's it it's these things that you realize just how important having a companion, having a partner, having someone who loves you really is. And people get really confused. So they confuse happiness and joy, and they confuse love and passion. I'm not saying you can't have a passionate love, but if the only reason you love someone is because you have a passion for them while they're on top of the world or while they're doing what they're doing, then that's not really love. You have this sort of like passionate, maybe even more lustful um sense towards the person. But if that ever dies down, that's when you get, like, I'm bored, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of you, you don't care about me, you don't pay attention. That's sort of when that starts to settle in, when the coals start to cool a little bit, right? And not all marriages are like that. Some of them keep the fire really, really hot for a long, 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 long time. And it's it's not impossible. But again, if you don't have that strong, steady love where it's not an emotion, it's an actual soulful attachment, it's going to break. It's the same thing with happiness and joy. Happiness is an emotion. Joy is knowing that even in difficult times that there is more to life, and that you'll see this through as well, and whatever the lesson is, or whatever the struggle that you're currently going through that might help you for something further down the line, just knowing that this is not the eternity that exists for you, and that you're kind of in this state of contentment and hopefulness and joy is not the same thing as the emotion of happiness. And so people tend to get those confused. And I think this movie does a fantastic job of separating those out and showing just how powerful it is to have someone that you really truly love and admire, and you're each other's rock, and you guys are the foundation for your own family so you can be the rock for your children. So it's a great film. Definitely, like, this is another Christmas tradition, like a must watch in my house every Christmas. This is a top notch Christmas film. Absolutely 100%. So we're back at the naughty list. This one, I have a problem with horror Christmas films, I think. And I don't know if it makes me biased or prejudiced against them, but this one was just really bad. So I think they were trying to go for like a Michael Myers thing, because basically what happens is a serial killer breaks out of an insane asylum and goes back to his old home before he got locked up. And it's now a sorority house. And now he's killing the sorority girls. But it's so bad. And I mean, like, choppy dialogue, what, like, it's not even a bad like, it's not the cheesy bad horror films that you're used to. It's just bad. And it's like a really, if we didn't have Michael Myers, then I think this would have been a little bit easier to swallow. But because we do have Michael Myers, there's no point to this movie. Like, why would I watch this when I can simply just go watch Michael Myers? You know what I mean? Um, and it's something that I actually got kind of funny, because it's supposed to be a horror film where you stay on the edge of your seat and you're like, "Oh my gosh," like a slasher horror film, right? And it was just not good. I couldn't I did. I fell asleep watching it, and I had to like go back and pick up where I left off. And you know, low budget horror films, hey, they've got their place. I am not against them at all. Um, there's cheesy low budget romance films that I absolutely love. Um, the the 1975 4 version was better, huh? Yeah, I know. There's a 1974 version, which is why I checked this one out, because I've seen the 74 version. Um, but that one didn't come off as like a cheap knockoff of Michael Myers, you know what I mean? That didn't feel like that didn't feel like they were trying to be a Michael Myers movie without being a Michael Myers movie. This one really did, and it was just I couldn't get into it. I couldn't. So yes, there's a 1974 version that you can check out, and it doesn't come across like a Michael Myers ripoff, but this one really does. I just recommend skipping it. Um, it's just kind of dull and not very good. I don't really, like I said, don't really care for horror Christmas movies as it is. Um, but this one was a real letdown. I think this would be a letdown for any horror Christmas fan for sure. Samil the Infamous for another $10. You've been so generous tonight. Thank you so much, sir. Says movie ex-wife still hasn't learned that love isn't a feeling. It's a choice you make every day, sometimes every minute. Yes, absolutely, 100%. You choose to love that person every day when you wake up and before you go to bed. So yeah, which is why it doesn't come off. Yes, it's pre Michael Myers, which is why it doesn't come off as a cheap knockoff of Michael Myers. Whereas this version, like you can tell, they were like, meh, we're gonna try and make it a Michael Myers film. It's not good. Well, hello there, Riven Dark. All right, so we are about to get to the final viewing Christmas, like the final one on the nice list. I don't know how many of you are expecting this, but if any one of you follows me on Twitter, this should not surprise you. If any of you have watched some of my other videos on the YouTube channel here, this should not shock you. And I say that because this is truly one of the greatest Christmas watches of all time. It is definitely a Christmas film, and there is so much that we can delve into about why, but the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended editions, like for myself personally, um is it is the perfect Christmas watch. They I mean, so for those of you who don't know, the Fellowship leaves from Rivendell in the books. They leave from Rivendell on December 25th. They leave on Christmas. But this whole story about, you know, a world that's fallen in darkness and an unexpected like not someone that you would expect what to be the savior of mankind, for this in this case Middle Earth, um you know, rises to the occasion. And through all of this, through love, through family, through fellowship, they're able to overcome this great evil and restore hope to the world. And it's just such a fantastic Christmas movie, because it brings you that sense of joy, of overcoming, of the darkness being finally shut at bay, and a light, a hope coming into the world, and that there is goodness and that there is virtue, and we've been saved for a reason, and that through these simple acts of goodness, through these simple acts of kindness, through all of these incredible feats of just everyday people. I mean, it is the perfect Christmas movie. And you have to watch it all three, of course, because it's one film. I maintain that. And if you start early enough, you can watch it all in a day. And then you can spend the next 2 days doing the behind the scenes stuff. But with the extended editions, if you start at 6:58 a.m., you can get done before Christmas dinner at 6 p.m. Now, if you have Christmas dinner a little bit later or a little bit earlier, you can adjust. But this is the quintessential, fantastic, wonderful Christmas watch. It is at the top of my list this week. Definitely take a day, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, or one of your, if you work retail and you have that shifting schedule where you work the weekend but you get Monday, Tuesday off or something like that. Excuse me. definitely spend the time and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It will put you in the Christmas spirit. And it should. It's meant to. It is that great of a story. And it's such an incredible sensation and feeling to rewatch something that is 2 decades ago and is still this incredible part of, the culture and showing us how respect for the lore can go. And even though it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, it definitely has its flaws. But it's so, I don't even have a word for it. It's so meaningful for so many, and to have this kind of love tangible through the screen, it's something that we're missing today. And I think that, of course, you have so many other great stories out there, but this is a wonderful, wonderful Christmas film for you to enjoy with your family. And it's it's definitely worth the time. So if you if you are looking for something to watch, this is going to be an incredible one. Because like I said, any of you are like, how could this be a Christmas movie? Like, The Fellowship leaves on the 25th of December, and that is not an accident. That's intentional. Um, Tolkien was a devout Catholic. It's woven into his stories, but it's not overt. It's not in your face. It's not agenda driven. It's just an incredible story of hope and good versus evil, triumphing, bringing light into the world. It's it's a great time. And yes, that will be on next week's list for sure. 1947's Miracle on 34th Street will absolutely make the nice list. I love that one too. So, I hope that everybody enjoyed the list. Maybe you saw something that you hadn't heard of before, hadn't seen before. Um and you were like, "Oh, well, maybe that is worth a look. Maybe that would be a good thing to check out." Or, "Hey, if I like Violent Night, then maybe I will give Fat Man a look." Like I said, I haven't seen it yet. I will get back to you next week on what I think about it. But if you liked Die Hard, you'll probably like Fat Man. And so, Tom, that was already, yeah, we've already talked about, Die Hard was earlier tonight, and Father Miller is going to see Violent Night, and I'm probably going to check out Violent Night this weekend, I think Saturday night. Um, and then give you guys kind of my thoughts on it overall. So that's kind of what's going on. That's what's happening. Um, I really think I really do appreciate you guys so, so much. I know it's been a bit crazy and a bit hectic, but all of you stopping by really means the world. I appreciate every single one of you. I hope that Christmas is, a blessed season for you all. I hope that you really get to enjoy family and friends, and that the Christmas spirit really awakens in your soul and you can find what it's all about and who it's all about. Um, and it's it's been fantastic just talking to you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the chats. Um, and it is the most wonderful time of the year. So I will say a prayer for all of you. Merry Christmas to all. God bless, Godspeed, and to all a good night. Bye.